If I say the word Hummer to most of you guys, you'll likely think of large gas-guzzling SUVs or maybe the military vehicle that the same was loosely based on, the High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle, or Humvee for short. The GMC H1, H2 and H3 were, without a doubt, the antithesis of the kind of vehicles we usually cover on this channel. They were large, they weren't great to drive, visibility was atrocious, and they drank fuel like metaphorical fishers. I mean, even Doug Niro tried to hypermile in the civilian version of the Humvee, the Hummer H1, and he only managed to get 11.5 miles per gallon. Sure, the H1 could climb a wall or drive over other vehicles, and it had a ladder frame chassis that helped make it pretty tough. And the H2 and H3 were basically built on various pickup truck chassis. But the last Hummer-branded vehicle rolled off the production line more than a decade ago, just 1 year before mainstream electric cars actually became a thing. I, like the rest of the automotive industry, assumed that Hummer would be dead forever. But over the last year or so, we've learned that it would be coming back as an all-electric brand, a new high-performance all-electric truck brand. And earlier this week, after months of teased images and videos, we got to see it for the first time. And the next day, I was among the media invited to an online product briefing for the same. So here's everything you need to know about the 2022 Hummer EV, a vehicle which GMC, and by its association its parent company General Motors, is calling a super truck. And yes, this is 1 day later than some of you would have liked, but we had not one but two breaking news stories to cover on Wednesday, and it was fairly evenly split over which one you wanted us to cover, so we ended up going with the Tesla quarterlies. Looking like a bigger, badder, more futuristic version of Hummers of the past, the Hummer EV is kitted out with a lot of high-tech inside and out. It's got GM's answer to autopilot, Super Cruise. It's got a 360-degree around truck camera system. It has adjustable air suspension, four-wheel steering, insane levels of power, 625 horsepower, 466 kilowatts for the lowest spec Hummer EV2, and more than 1,000 horsepower, 745 kilowatts for the most powerful triple motor Hummer EV Edition 1. Powering all of this is the new Ultium battery system and drivetrain that General Motors unveiled earlier this year. In the case of the Hummer EV, the battery pack is a double-stacked pack made up of 24 switchable modules, each with their own thermal management system and wireless battery management system. Engineers weren't keen to detail exact battery capacities during the press briefing. We're told that will be released nearer to the truck's production launch, but we were told that it was a 400-volt NCMA pack. That's nickel, cobalt, manganese, aluminium. While cobalt is still present in this pack, GMC claims that Ultium uses 70% less cobalt per kilowatt-hour of energy storage when compared to previous generation packs found in vehicles like the Chevrolet Bolt EV. The pack itself is split in the middle and, says GMC, uses a set of relays to allow switching between 800-volt series and 400-volt parallel operation. The former is used when charging the Hummer EV at the next generation 800-volt, 350-kilowatt DC quick charging stations that are now popping up all around the world, and the latter is used when the car is charging at an older, less powerful DC quick charging station, or it's actually being used. At least that's true for all models except the entry-level Hummer EV2, which only offers 400-volt legacy DC quick charging. In its most powerful charging mode, a claimed 10 minutes of charging can add nearly 100 miles of range in ideal situations, but I'm sure most of you watching this realise by now that charging is a bit of a dark art and real-world experiences may vary depending on weather conditions, how warm the pack is, and how full it is. That said, an interesting snippet we gleaned is the fact that the Hummer EV, and I presume the Ultium platform as well, will use the same kind of clever preheating technology used by Tesla to heat up the battery pack prior to high-power rapid charging. Heating up the battery pack prior to this event can help lower I²R losses in the pack, and it ensures that it's as easy as possible to push as much energy into the pack in as short as possible time. And yes, unlike the Bolt EV, where rapid charging is still a $750 optional extra, why GM? Why? It's standard on the Hummer EV. Now, I did say that the Hummer EV's battery capacity is something of an unknown right now, but early range estimates for the entry-level Hummer EV2 is said to be around the 250-mile, 402-kilometre mark. And while GMC is talking about the range-topping triple-motor Hummer EV1 Edition 1 offering 350 miles, 563 kilometres or more of range, we do have a couple of hints to help us. Given how large the truck is and how much onboard equipment it has, I'm guessing that the battery pack in the entry-level model has to be at least 100 kilowatt hours and 200 kilowatt hours for the range-topping model, which happens to be the largest capacity battery pack that GM is known to be planning for its Ultium system. The largest battery pack that I know GM has unveiled to date for its Ultium system is a 200 kilowatt hour pack. So if we assume an 85% utilization of actual pack capacity, or 170 kilowatt hours usable, that would give us a rough back of the napkin efficiency of just over 2 miles per kilowatt hour. For something that looks like a brick with rounded corners, as opposed to Tesla's aerodynamic yet cyberpunk wedge-shaped Cybertruck, that's honestly not far off what I'd expect. And yes, I've already managed to bring up Tesla far more than GMC did in its launch presentation. In fact, as far as I can remember, Tesla was only mentioned once when discussing that the Hummer EV Edition 1 has a turning circle of 11.3 meters, which is actually less than the turning circle of the Tesla Model 3. With all of that power, the range-topping Hummer EV Edition 1 can sprint from 0 to 60 in, quote, approximately 3 seconds. Approximately being auto industry speak for we're still tweaking the final performance ahead of final production intent. And that feat is only available if you engage the WTF mode, or Watts to Freedom, as official press material describes it. It's basically launch mode for the truck, and I suspect is the answer to either Tesla's Ludicrous or Plaid modes. And yes, I'm pretty sure that Watts to Freedom is a backronym for, well, you know what WTF stands for, and it's not why the face. If you imagine this thing accelerating to you at full pelt, let's just say you'll want to get out of the way quickly. And on the subject of crash test worthiness and pedestrian protection, GMC seems to be hoping its advanced driver assistance features and pedestrian alert systems will help avoid crumpling that massive high-up hood and front fender, given that pedestrian deaths are continuing to rise around the world as a consequence of our collective love affair for ever-increasingly large SUVs and pickup trucks. I really hope this is true. After all, unlike a large internal combustion engine vehicle, there is really no rhyme or reason for the Hummer EV to have that massive front hood and grille, except for styling, which I might touch on later, and the fact that GMC is using the front trunk area as a place for owners to store the optional, removable, modular Infinity roof panels that the Hummer EV can come with. I'm curious though as to if those panels have to be stored in a particular order, like the roof panels on the very much smaller Suzuki Cappuccino of the 1990s. But I'm digressing into K-Class cars. Although the Hummer EV most certainly offers insane performance on the road, it's also built as an incredible off-roader with plenty of onboard features designed to get hardened rock crawlers and green lane enthusiasts alike safely navigating off-road trials. At the heart of the off-roading capabilities is of course the drivetrain, which can operate in a variety of different modes in order to send power to where it's actually needed. And in what I think is an EV first, please do let me know if I'm wrong, the front motor comes with a lockable front differential. 3 motor variants also get a lockable rear differential. Models from the Hummer EV2X upwards get 4-wheel steering as well, something that's designed to help low-speed maneuverability of the Hummer EV's hulking 135.6-inch wheelbase get into parking spaces, but it's also designed to help it turn tight corners with ease. And off-road, that very same system allows for the crab walk mode that we've heard teased a fair bit over the last few weeks. This, says GMC, means that it's possible for owners to get out of tough situations on the trail by switching into crab walk and to get around or over obstacles. While not all models get torque vectoring, every Hummer does come with user-adjustable regenerative braking and the same Regen on-demand system that drivers of the Bolt EV and the second-generation Volt will recognise. That single pedal driving is also available in a specific off-road mode that allows the truck to gracefully descend down a steep slope without running away. Also standard is an adjustable air suspension system that, like other electric vehicles out there, lowers the truck down when it's driving along a highway to give it better aerodynamics. And like those kneeling buses you see around the world, it also has a special entry or exit mode that lowers the whole truck down just so that you can get inside more easily. Off-road though, the suspension can provide fantastic clearance when required. There's an optional extract mode, which, like crab walk, is designed to get you out of a muddle on the trail. It can provide an extra 6 inches of clearance for 15.9 inches in total. And in case you're worried about not clearing the obstacle, well, there's a trick up the Hummer's boxy sleeves: a camera underneath the truck to make sure that you don't ding the thick underbody protection built to protect you, the truck, and the battery pack. I'm not going to go through all of the options for approach and departure angles, but if you go for that extra mode, which is standard on the oh so expensive high-end variants, you'll be able to wade through up to 32 inches, 812 millimeters of water. You'll be able to achieve a 49.7 degree approach angle, a 38.4 degree departure angle, and a 32.2 degree breakover angle. While the first two terms are pretty self-explanatory, the last one, for those who aren't really into off-roading, relates to the maximum angle created by the hump between the front and rear axles that it's safe to cross without bottoming the vehicle out or having that hump hit the underside of the truck. Simply put, this truck is an off-road king, at least if it delivers on the specifications promised. I've not had a chance to get to the truck yet, and I understand that nobody has been allowed to drive it. But it's certainly fair to state that the Hummer EV is a truck designed to grab the EV off-roading crown. On to interior. Unlike Hummers of old, this new incarnation features a lot of in-car tech. There are multiple screens, some touch-based, which can be customized to show a variety of different information. Off-road, for example, one display can switch to show virtual, customizable versions of the off-road gauges that many off-roaders rely on to know what's happening to their vehicle and how it's oriented. The interior of the truck we've seen thus far is somewhere between luxury crossover meets traditional Hummer, and there's seating for 5. To my eye, the displays don't feel part of the truck. They feel bolted on, even though they aren't, but that's just personal preference, I guess. Because of the aforementioned infinity roof and power rear window, the whole of the Hummer EV can be turned into an open-air experience that's more old-school Jeep than Hummer of old. But hey, I can't complain because I like me an open ride. So who is this for? It's clearly not for EV fans, at least traditional EV fans. And it's not just a truck to drive to and from work in. It's an alpha EV, an off-road capable, balls-to-the-wall truck that you can, should you wish, climb a vertical wall with. But it's very different to the Rivian R1T, Ford's upcoming F-150 EV, and of course, the Tesla Cybertruck. Cybertruck, in case you were wondering, is actually a little longer than the Hummer EV, and a little faster in its range-topping guise. But right now, I suspect these two don't cross-shop in any way, shape or form. They're different trucks for different people. Cybertruck is for people who want a pickup truck that's cool, electric, and hellishly advanced. The Hummer EV is a pickup truck for off-roaders who want to flex on their buddies in the new Ram 1500 TRX. At this point, I should acknowledge the massive elephant in the room. This is not a cheap vehicle. The Hummer EV2, a truck we won't see until 2024, will retail from $79,995 before incentives. Its bigger brother, the Hummer EV2X, will launch in 2023 for $89,995. And the Hummer EV3X, can you see a pattern, will go on sale in the fall of 2022 with a $99,995 price tag. The Hummer EV Edition 1, a truck that will debut next fall and which sold out of its limited production run in less than an hour when the order books opened, will have an MSRP of, wait for it, $112,595. No, it's not cheap. It is essentially a high-performance sports car disguised as a rock-crawling sport pickup. And I know that price will be the source of great hand-wringing and lots of criticism. After all, even the most expensive Tesla Cybertruck is nowhere near the price of the Hummer EV1 Edition 1. Even the aforementioned Ram 1500 TRX, with every single option box ticked, comes in at $97,000 US. As GMC admitted earlier though, it's a truck that it has no problem finding buyers for. In just 1 hour, it sold out of its limited edition model. Sadly, I don't know how many examples there were, but GMC says the order books now have a 2,000 strong waitlist for the same. For those with the money, this is exactly what they want in an off-roading truck. For the rest of us, it's just another large, expensive, if technologically impressive pickup that is way out of reach. And you know what? Right now, I think that's okay. At least if it means that the Ultium platform can spawn less expensive, far more practical everyday rides. Those are the ones that I'm really excited about. That's it for today's video. As always, thanks to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters. Special thanks to our $50 a month patrons. That's John Lyons, Regine Fellows, Jeffrey Songster, and Tazla in the Gong. And our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback, Sean Ueda, Ian, and Will Graylin. You can join all of these amazing people and become a Patreon supporter yourself by following the links below, or you can send us a donation through Ko-fi or Bitcoin. You'll also find a link to our free Discord server, so sign up and come and join in the fun. And if you're in need of some swag, the holidays are approaching, do check out our merch over at Redbubble. We've got some great products, and if you've got a fan of the show in your family, why not buy them some Transport Evolved swag for this season? You can get all kinds of awesome things, so make sure you check it out. After the names have finished scrolling, you'll see a suggestion for a new video to watch, so please consider watching it if you haven't, and I will be back very soon. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving.